Hello and welcome to the May of 2023 Roundtable. We're glad you're able to join us this evening. Hope that you're all having a nice time meeting with the members of your scouting community. A little bit of information about this meeting. We will begin with a video with some content from Gateway Scouting and some updates. Some of this content is also suggested by BSA National. And then following this video, there will be time for your scouting communities to meet in person. The video portion of this meeting will be accessible on the Gateway Scouting Roundtable website, as is all of the other Roundtable content for this year. My name is Matt Pagliaro. I am a Cub Master in Holmen, and I just want to say thank you to all of the members of the Roundtable planning team. Dirk is our member from the Scouts BSA District Committee, and Steve is our member from the Cub Scout District Committee. And then we have Morgan, Ashley, Laurel, and Joe, who have supported from the council. Thank you to all of these people for putting on really nice content for this year's Roundtable. If you have any ideas for future Roundtable content, please contact us, let us know. And if you'd like to be part of this planning team, we would be glad to work you in. Normally at this time, we would do an opening. We are going to have all of the scouting communities lead their own openings. So if you have not done an opening already, please pause the video at this time and have somebody lead an opening. Normally at Roundtable, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance, we do the Scout Oath and Law, and we do the Outdoor Code. All right, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to start with some information from National BSA and from the council. So we're going to start with a safety moment that Steve Schauer is going to review. We have a video for some BSA safe swim defense, especially considering remote areas, areas that may not have swim areas marked off that you may be working in the summer. So I'm going to go to that video quickly.
This segment of the Aquatic Supervision Swimming and Water Rescue course covers how to set up a safe swim area in a natural body of water that is not maintained as a regular swimming location. Key ingredients for a successful unit swim include knowledgeable leadership, youth eager to get wet, and a suitable body of water. However, a safe, successful swim also requires advanced preparation. Let's first cover what leaders need to consider prior to the activity. The first of those is the personal health review required by Safe Swim Defense. Check health histories and physicals for any conditions that need special consideration and respect any limitations or precautions indicated by parents or physicians. Also check for any recent injury or illness that might temporarily limit in-water activities. Next, review the swimming abilities of unit members. How you set up a remote swim area will depend on the number of participants in each ability group. You may need to provide opportunities for swim classification tests prior to the activity. Requirements and procedures for conducting the test will be covered in a different module. Also identify which leaders and youth have previous training in water rescue, such as Life-Saving Merit Badge, BSA Lifeguard, or this course. You'll need to select response personnel to guard both the swim and the in-water setup. You will need to provide rescue equipment for the response personnel, as well as supplies for setting up the swim area and keeping track of participants. Contents of a safe swim kit will vary with the type of activity, but here are some basics. Rope is essential for a line and tender rescue team.
Hold on to that rope, you're gonna be just fine. Hold on to that rope, nice and tight. Hold on, you're gonna be just...
Rescue throw bags are ideal for storing the line. Make sure the rope floats and is long enough to cover your area. Flotation aids make good rescue devices and may be used by safety swimmers during area setup. Various types of life jackets are often available during float trips or can be added to the safe swim kit. Swimming areas for non-swimmers and beginners must be marked with a physical boundary. That is, something swimmers will run into before reaching deep water. Floating line is good for that. Balloons or other floats are handy for marking areas and help keep the line in place. To hold the floats, you will need light line and anchors. Rocks found at the site can be used for anchors, but are not always available or easy to tie to. Various types of bags, filled with small rocks or sand, make good anchors and are easy additions to a safe swim kit, since you only carry the bags, not the weights. Nylon bags are good, but plastic bags, canvas sacks, or even socks will work. The buddy system is always used during BSA swimming activities, including setup of a safe area. Various systems, such as clothespins, buddy tags from camp, or even a list on a clipboard, may be used to keep track of buddy pairs and their swimming ability. Don't forget writing instruments for whichever system you choose. A first aid kit is an important item for any outdoor activity. Having a spare in your safe swim kit is handy. Don't forget sunscreen. Shoes are a prudent precaution for safely checking the bottom for many swim areas. Although not carried in the safe swim kit, make sure shoes that can get wet are part of the individual equipment list. To review, pre-trip preparation for a swimming activity includes reviewing health histories, checking swimming abilities, identifying those with water rescue training, and assembling a safe swim kit. We are now ready to return to our remote area. Setting up a swim area with 3 ability groups can take a bit of time. Therefore, large units should consider using a small group of older, trained youth to set up the area, while the rest of the unit does something else. That will prevent those not involved in the setup from getting bored. Before anyone goes into the water, unit leaders should clearly explain safety procedures and each step in the process. Safety features include strict adherence to all points of safe swim defense, including the buddy system, response personnel, and a lookout. The first task is to check shallow water for hazards such as debris or drop-offs. That is done with a line of swimmers walking parallel to shore. Shorter swimmers are positioned near the shore, and taller swimmers near the other end. It is also possible to use a line moving perpendicular to shore, but a line moving parallel to shore is preferred. Such a line allows objects to be passed to shore, prevents everyone from stepping off into deep water at the same time, and better utilizes those at different heights. Once leaders are convinced that shallow water or sufficient area is clear, a buddy check is given.
Buddy check. 1, 2, 3. You got 3? Go. 3's good.
And everyone leaves the water. A buddy check is also indicated if there are any problems during the search, such as someone snagged by a fishing line. If the initial sweep determines that the area is not suitable, then the group needs to move to a different location. In murky water, deep water conditions are checked by a single good swimmer. A floating line with a loop tied with a bowline may be slipped over the swimmer's shoulder and tended by the swimmer's buddy on shore. The loop should be tight enough not to fall off inadvertently, but loose enough that the swimmer can slip free if needed. A safety swimmer with a flotation device may accompany the swimmer in the water. The safety swimmer is typically buddied with the lookout. The swimmer carefully bobs up and down as he moves into deep water. As the water deepens, he switches to feet-first surface dives. Since the maximum depth for swimming in turbid water is only 8 feet deep, the swimmer need not submerge very far. If the swimmer encounters submerged trees, discarded appliances, or other hazards, then the area is not suitable for a safe swim site. The next step after you determine that bottom conditions are safe is to set up areas of appropriate depth for the ability groups. Areas only need to be defined for the groups that are present. If the unit has non-swimmers and swimmers, but no beginners, then a beginner's area is not needed. The non-swimmers area needs to be confined and limited to depths less than waist to chest deep. The beginner's area also needs to be confined. It may include depths just over the head, so long as shallow water is close by. The swimmer's area only needs boundary markers. Depths are limited to 8 feet in murky water and 12 feet in clear water. Water depths are restricted to make it easier for guards to respond to submerged victims. Once again, make sure that everyone understands their task before entering the water. Setting up one area at a time with a small group helps keep the process organized. Here's an example sequence. Note that the action has been condensed.
All right, and now Steve is going to provide a overview and for some of the rest of this information.
Correct. So just hitting the highlights at the end of that video. When you go to create a swimming area for your scouts, make sure to check for debris. That includes just identifying known hazards, maybe rocks, tree limbs, anything that might be submerged underneath there. You can either get it out of there or mark it. The video also captured where you're trying to create your swimmers areas. Recommended depths, you're to 8 foot. Otherwise, if you're in clear water, you can go up to 12 feet deep on your swimmers area. Beginners areas should be at about chest to a height of your shortest scout. And then it must also include some shallow water. That way, if they get spooked, they can readily get to shallower water. And then your non-swimmers, that should be at a depth of only waist high only. Make sure you rope off your beginners and your non-swimmer areas so they adequately know where their area is. And then always practice the buddy system. That's crucial, especially for your lifeguards that are sitting up above. Doing that routine just helps probably calm down the group every once in a while, but also make sure that they're being safe while having that fun. Ultimately, there's certain areas that we get into that you may not be able to set up an area. One thing that you could consider to make sure that the kids are safe is always have an adult observing them, but the use of mandatory life jackets if you are unable to give them those roped off swimming areas, but as an added precaution either way.
All right, thank you. So all good reminders, especially when units might be doing some aquatics activities in areas that are not designated swim areas at a scout camp. Our hot topic for this month, since Memorial Day is coming up and we will have Flag Day next week, we're going to talk a little bit about etiquette for using the American flag. So a little bit of history on the U.S. flag. So the United States flag was adopted on June 14th, 1777. Therefore, every day, June 14th, is recognized as National Flag Day. And there's actually a connection to scouting to the current 50-star flag. It was actually designed in 1958 by a 17-year-old Boy Scout. He designed it for a school project. His teacher was not very impressed, however. He only received a B- on the project. But in 1960, when Congress and President Eisenhower approved Bob Heft's design, the teacher did go ahead and change his grade. So interesting connection to scouting. You can read more about that story on the link down below from Scouting Magazine. All right, getting into some flag etiquette. These are some do's and don'ts, mostly do nots of using the American flag. So most people know the flag should never be flown upside down unless it is to signal distress. The flag should never be used for clothing or for decorations, should never have anything added to it, advertisements or words or designs or pictures or anything like that. It's really not appropriate to use the flag as part of a costume or a uniform. Most of us know that the flag should never touch anything beneath it, the ground or anything else. The flag should never be used to hold anything, like as a tablecloth or anything along those lines. And it's actually not appropriate to hold the flag horizontally, like you see at many large stadium football games when they stretch a big flag across the field. The flag is actually supposed to be displayed upright. And never forget to retire your flag in a dignified way. That's a unique thing that scouts get to do that many Americans do not get to do. And it's really a neat opportunity and experience to be part of a flag retirement ceremony. Some things to remember about displaying the flag. it should always be in a place of prominence. There's some diagrams on the screen that show where it should be located. If it's on a pole that is higher than other flags, it should always be above the other flags that are displayed. But if you have flag poles that are equal in height, the flag should always be on the left as the observer is looking at the flag. So that's whether it's displayed in front of it by a speaker or in a parade or anything like that. The flag should always be on the left of the observers, and it should be on its own right. And here are a couple of other tips. Remember that the flag should always occupy a position of honor. Flag ceremony should always be respectful, but keep in mind we should always tailor them to the scouts that are participating, whether it's Cub Scouts or older scouts. Make the ceremony appropriate to those age groups. Flags that are carried in a parade or presented in a ceremony should always be held in a perpendicular upright position. The American flag should never be dipped or at an angle. We should lower our flag every day, and we do like we do at camp and other events. And folded flag should always be carried against the chest. And if you would like any other resources, there are some links to articles about history of the U.S. flag throughout the history of our nation, some other things to keep in mind about flag etiquette. And there's also an article here specific to Cub Scouts that also has some games and things that can help teach Cub Scouts about flag etiquette. Okay, so we are going to move on to some council updates now. The first one we have is a very exciting event that we have is our council program calendar release. So I believe Morgan is going to give us a little bit of information about this.
Yes, so thanks, Matt. We are all going to be receiving a copy of our 2023-2024 program planning guide. This is a great resource to use while planning for your whole year. There's information of events and dates that you can find in this, and you'll be able to find this online on our website as well.
All right, thank you. And there are resources available on the Gateway Scouting webpage to help you use that calendar and also plan your own unit program calendars. Okay, we also want to start thinking about membership and recruitment. So we have a speaker and then some videos to show you. First, we have Brendan Herman, who is the membership coordinator for the Cub Scout District, joining us. So Brenda, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Matt. So a couple of things that I want to bring up are membership is always something that can be thought of year round, but as we're channeling into our summer programming and we're doing a lot of things with our scouts, it's a really good time to update your pictures. Get scouts that are in your units now that are in parades, going out camping, doing some of those summer activities, and then use those pictures to update your trifold board, Facebook posts, any social media you do use, any flyers that you want to create with pictures. It's a good way for the friends to be able to see their friends doing things. So it's kind of something to always keep in mind every couple of years. And then you can use those things during our fall recruitment time, during open house, or as you're passing out your flyers for those things. You want to make sure that you're connecting with your school at open house or before open house to be able to pass out flyers, even if you do it at the door rather than a booth. Pass out those flyers and get information out to the friends in school time. In July, we'll be pushing out our emails for the units to get signed up for the membership popcorn dates in August, and we'll be looking for coordinators to help us do the fall recruitment again this year. If you're interested in how to do that, there is training available, and get you signed up, and then that helps us out on the membership team to ensure we have a very successful fall recruiting session. And then if there's anything else, you can reach out to me through the scouting office or any of the emails that I have. I think that's about it.
Hi, I'm Rob Lee. I'm one of the members of the membership team for the council, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about a new fall recruitment project that we're going to try this year. It's primarily focused on sixth graders. Obviously, then it is recruiting for Scouts BSA. We're going to be using a plan that has been successfully used in other councils. You might be asking, why are we going to do this? This is something new. We usually focus on Cub Scouts. Well, we do focus on Cub Scouts. Of course, we know they're the lifeblood of scouting throughout the council. But why? Well, in the past 2 years, our Cub Scout numbers have gone down. During the pandemic, 2020, 2021, our Cub Scout recruiting was not good at all. And as a matter of fact, we lost a number of Cub Scouts that were in packs that were not meeting. So what that means for our troops is that there is going to be a very limited number of Scouts, Cubs crossing over into your troops within for the next 2 or 3 years possibly. So we need to do something different to try to get back some of these sixth graders that we were not able to recruit or did not join when they were possibly in Cub Scouts. So the plan is basically one that involves troops to a very significant amount, particularly your scouts, who would be maybe your senior leaders in your troop, but recognizing people as they come up, inviting them to come in, have a seat, an opening ceremony, and probably most importantly, talking a little bit of a brief presentation to those scouts, those Cubs, or the potential scouts rather, about their particular troop, why they're in the troop, what are they doing, and then having maybe some storyboards to be able to talk a little bit more at length about some of their particular adventures. You say, why do we need the scouts so heavily involved? Because 6th and 7th graders, kids of that age, don't listen to 45 or 55 or 75-year-old men talking about scouts. They are very, very much related to their peers, what their peers are doing, what their peers are thinking, what their peers are wearing, and as a result, we need to count on our scouts to help recruit these new scouts into your troop. If you'd like to participate, we'd love to have you, but make sure that you get going and prepare a storyboard, talk to your junior leaders about it, and make sure that they are willing to be involved, because without them, it's not going to work. If you're interested, it'll be in the fall. Contact Morgan at the Scout office and let her know, and we'll provide you with more details later. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Honor DiDonato, and I am on the membership committee for the Gateway Area Council Board. I'm also in the leadership for PAC 98 in La Crescent. So today I'm going to give you some tips on how to further your recruitment in your units by way of social media. So first, let's talk about the importance of social media. Social media is obviously something that's being used and leveraged among all different age groups and different demographics to share what they're doing, how they're having fun, events that are coming up, how things are going within their family or their communities. And so with scouting, that shouldn't be any different. This is a great way for us and our units to communicate to the public what we're doing, how we're having fun, how we're giving back to the community. It's a way to connect to our businesses, to other volunteer organizations or community partners, to let them have a glance at what we're doing, how we're giving back, but also to make people jealous. Let's have some fun. Let's show them what we're doing. And when parents are looking at these pages, when they're seeing these pictures and they're looking at what the kids of the same ages are doing, their kids are going to want to do this as well. So why not take advantage of that? The more that we share on social media, the more that we put things out there, we have an opportunity to not only tag individuals as they're participating, but also tag the businesses, tag the groups that we're working with. If you happen to take your troop to a business within La Crosse and you're working on a certain type of merit badge, or you're taking your den down to work on an adventure with a graphic design location, then why not share some pictures of your event and then tag the business and tag the parents? Every single one of us, whether we're an individual person or a business, we have circles. We have circles of people that pay attention to our page. They pay attention to our feed, and what we post then shows up in their feed. The more you tag, the more that you pull those circles in, the bigger the overall circle becomes. It exponentially ripples out for people to see what it is we're doing. And again, as those parents are seeing what other kids are doing within our units, it draws that attention. It draws their interest. They want to know more. They want their kid to be a part of it. It also allows an opportunity for our units to have additional communication just within our own unit itself. So if you imagine you have these pages on Facebook, but you also have groups. And groups are a great way to say, I have this body, this entity, whether it's a den or a pack, and I want to communicate to each other what's going on throughout the school year. Or maybe my troop wants to have a group so that every time we have a camping weekend coming up, we can easily put out there the list of the equipment that those scouts should be bringing with them. Parents want to know what time is drop off, when's pickup, where do we go, what do we do? This is a very quick and easy way to be able to share that information. And like most of us, we tend to have a preference on how we like to communicate. Some would rather have the phone call. Some would rather have a text message. Some only pay attention to social media. And so as we further broaden our scope and our units hit more and more people, we have to accommodate all of those different messaging styles. So social media really does a good job at adding to the opportunity or the ability to communicate to all of those involved in our groups. One of the things that you want to do when you're creating your page and or your groups is you also want to make sure that you keep it up to date. There's the algorithm. We've probably heard a lot about algorithms with social media. The more often that you post, the more often you're going to show up in other people's feed. So a hint to have along the way is once you create this, maybe see if you can't find a parent who will volunteer to say that's their job, and have them make sure they go out there, every month and put a picture or two up on the page. Now, assuming though that your units are very active and you're doing a lot of activities in the community, that's not going to be hard to do. You're going to have plenty of pictures to pick from. So make sure you're getting them out there, tag out the people, take those businesses, and you'll really be impressed at how much the community responds back with the compliments and the appreciation of what your troop is doing. If you want to set up a page or a group or you want to talk about this in further details, get a little bit more information about what to do, reach out to Ashley or Morgan at the office and they'll be happy to help you out.
To go along with some themes that have been going on in the council lately, we just had a conservation theme for our Scouts BSA camporee, and that was also a theme for Roundtable a couple of months ago. There is an annual river cleanup scheduled, and that has actually been rescheduled because of flooding on the Mississippi River. So the new dates are Friday, June 2nd, Saturday, June 3rd, and there are some opportunities for volunteers to do some work with cleanup and conservation. So on Friday, June 2nd, that's at the Trempealeau Boat Landing. And on Saturday, June 3rd, they are meeting at Myrick Park to clean up the La Crosse Marsh area. If you are interested or have scouts that would like to do this project or need service hours, especially conservation service hours, there are Google forms to fill out and also an email address to make contact for that. There's also more information on the River Cleanup website. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Morgan for some of our council updates.
Yeah, so we have some exciting training opportunities coming up. We do have our Cub Scout Leader specific training, which is our BLUE, as you would heard it, Basic Adult Leader Outdoor Orientation. That's going to be May 20th to 21st out at Camp Decorah. We have again with Scouts BSA, we have our Introduction to Outdoor Leader Skills, iTools, May 19th to 21st out at Camp Decorah. And then we do have our Scouts BSA Youth Training for National Youth Leadership Training happening June 11th through 16 out at Camp Decorah. All these registrations are open and available on our website, gatewayscouting.org/training. All of the month of May, we will be running our Scrapathon. This is a fundraiser that we run annually that helps raise funds for scouting. So bring any of your recyclable metal to the participating locations. We have a location here at our Scout Council office. We have one out at Camp Decorah. There is a location from Rundy in Holman and Toma as well. And then the La Crosse landfill is also participating in this. We also have our 2023 adventure cards sale running right now. It is a great way for scouts to raise money for specific scouting adventures that they'd like to partake in. It also could be, you know, uniforms, really any scouting affiliated thing they can use this money towards. It's there's a $10 per card, $5 goes to the Scout, $5 goes to the council. So it's a no risk sale that you can pick up these cards and then just make sure that they're returned. We are running this now through July 7th. This weekend, we will have our Cub Scout Day at the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration Land up on St. Joseph Ridge. It is $5 a person. We're going to be having a round robin activity that will take you through the gardens, the woodlands, the greenhouse, and so much more. It's going to be a great day of fun out there. So sign up is on gatewayscouting.org/greenhouse. And upcoming this summer, we have our Summer Merit Badge Days out at Camp Decorah. We have one June 10th, June 11th, July 25th, and July 26th. All that information can be found on our website for you to register as well. And then we have our annual Loggers Scout Night at the Loggers, June 17th, 2023. At the gates open at 5:30 p.m. There, we're going to have a meet and greet with the players before the game. And each ticket is an entry to, and then to throw the first pitch. So $15 per ticket, and then that includes a Loggers hat. You can find more information in the code to use on our website for that.
Morgan, does this event end at the end of the game?
Yes, yep, it is just at the end of the game. Yep, we will not be, we are not unfortunately able to do the overnight this year. So after the game is done, you will be able to go home. And then if you save, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, so we do have some events coming up this summer that we just wanted to make sure you have on your calendar. John Hanley has some information for us about another merit badge opportunity that corresponds with Flag Day, to kind of go along with our hot topic from earlier in the meeting. So, John.
Hey, thank you, Matt. This year we're going to offer what I call is a pop-up merit badge class for citizenship in the nation, be held at the Franciscan Spirituality Center. It will participation will be up to about 8 to 9 scouts, and during that time, they will be part of their culminating event for the merit badge is to explain the significance of the flag to a number of veterans in our area. So this is something that's been developed and looked like it was a good opportunity to have our scouts earn an Eagle required merit badge and also provide some service to our local veterans.
All right, great, thank you. And then we do have a couple of events to help raise funds for scouting in this area. We've got the annual lawn social on July 11th, and then the golf outing for scouting on August 21st. So keep checking the website for more information about those events. This will be the last roundtable until September. So this is a good opportunity for you to relax a little bit and spend time with your families and spend time with your units at summer camps and things like that. There will be some membership and popcorn kickoff meetings in August. Morgan has a little bit of information about that, I believe.
Yeah, so we're gonna have 4 different sign up nights. It's gonna be kind of mimic the same as we did last year. We're gonna have separate breakout rooms for popcorn, and then Cub Scouts and Scouts BSA. If you do have 2 adults that attend these kickoff meetings, you will get an additional 5% commission for your popcorn sale. And again, as we're not going to be meeting for Roundtable, this is a great opportunity to connect with others and kick off the year at a great way.
All right, thank you. And so we will resume our regular monthly roundtables and scouting community meetings next fall, September 14th. Thursday will be the first one of the year. All right, so John is still with us. I'm going to turn it over to him for a few remarks. He is our council commissioner, and he has some words that he would like to share.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening to everybody. What I'd like to talk about just briefly is youth protection. I think everyone who's been in scouting for a while knows the importance of that, of taking care of our youth as well as our adults. And as we see in our training realm, every scout deserves a trained leader. This training also includes the youth protection training. There are some changes coming up beginning on September 1st, and I'd like to cover those with you. Recently, there was an announcement for Scouts youth protection policies regarding adult registration for participation in scouting events. This will take effect on September 1st, 2023, which is also, keep that in mind in your calendars, as well as that's when you start thinking about registering the new Scouts and rechartering, which we need to accomplish by the end of the calendar year. But as of now, units are strongly encouraged to begin following the updated guidelines now in preparation for the mandatory change, which I mentioned is September 1st. So for registration requirements, the chartered organization representative, or in their absence, the executive officer of the chartered organization must approve the registration of units' adult leaders. Registration includes completion of applications, including criminal background check, mandatory youth protection training, and volunteer screening database check. Current youth protection training that is valid for at least 1 year is required for leaders when renewing the registration or a unit charter renewal. Again, as I mentioned, that's coming this fall. Adults with expired youth protection will be suspended from serving as volunteers in scouting. Adult program participants, those in the ages of 18, 19, and 20, must register as adults and follow the youth protection policies. For events, scouting events proceeding after the September 1st, 2 registered adults at least 21 years of age are required at all scouting events, including meetings. I just want to underscore that, including meetings, which we may not have been able to follow in the past, but that's important. There must be a registered female adult leader at least 21 years of age in every unit serving females. A registered female adult leader at least 21 years must be present for any activities involving female youth or female adult program participants. All adults staying overnight in connection with scouting activities must currently register as an adult fee. That's a key word there. Key is fee required position, or as an adult program participant. Limited exceptions for scout overnight programs. So as I mentioned about the fee requirement, people who are registered as merit badge counselors, which does not include a fee, do not meet the requirements of 2 deep leadership, even though they are maybe registered or have youth protection training. So things unique for Cub Scout overnight exceptions. Cub Scout parents or legal guardians taking part in overnight Cub Scout programs with their own child or legal ward are not required to register as leaders. All adults must review How to Protect Your Children from Child Abuse, a parent's guide that can be found in the front of Cub Scout handbooks. In addition, the parent, or legal guardian must be accompanied by a registered leader at any time they are with youth members other than their own child or ward. All other overnight adults must be currently registered in an adult fee required position. So these are the changes or emphasis coming up beginning September 1st. So keep those in mind, and let's keep scouting safe.
All right, thank you, John. So now we have our council executive, Joe Carlson. I'm going to turn it over to him for some final words.
Thanks, Matt. Exciting that we're able to gather in person tonight. I encourage all the groups to have a productive and a connecting second half of the roundtable as we gather at 5 different locations in our council. I want to thank everybody that took time over the previous scouting year to join us monthly for our Thursday roundtable meetings. You know, it's enjoyable to hear and see different ideas and interactions between the units, and really see the number of units that are connected together in the council grow and increase. I want to thank our roundtable planning team for all the great work that they did over the last scouting calendar year to plan these functions. Thank you to everybody that attended, but also thank you to Matt and the roundtable planning committee and the staff that supported that effort as well. I want to encourage everybody to have a great summer of scouting activities. Looking forward to hearing about the many adventures that your packs and troops are up to, but also want to encourage everybody to use the summer, maybe the second half of the summer, as productive planning time for the fall 2023 year. Make plans to join us at those August kickoffs, and certainly if you have challenges in your unit, you know, related to program planning or volunteerism, or even just questions about, hey, what can we do to mix things up? Reach out to a member of the Gateway Scouting volunteer staff team, and we'll certainly be glad to get people involved to help improve your unit's scouting experience. So let's have a great summer and scout on.
All right, thank you, Joe. So we're going to move into our scouting community meetings at each of your meeting locations. Most importantly, we want to make sure that all of the people there have a chance to connect and communicate and just get to know each other and talk about things that are going on in your units and maybe bounce ideas and things off of one another. But if you're looking for topics to discuss, things that you could look at are always planning for upcoming community events. We've got Memorial Day observances coming up, lots of local parades and festivals during the summer. So if you have dates and details about those, you could share those. As we mentioned earlier, this is a good time to start thinking about planning for recruiting. So share ideas with how you're marketing scouting and in your area, what schools you're doing your open houses, especially for cities or villages that may have more than one elementary school. Are there any of those schools that are being missed? And also, how are we in both packs and troops recruiting and reaching out to girls? Good opportunity to share what your unit is doing for the summer and in the fall. And this might also provide some ideas for combining events to make it more fun and interesting for our scouts. But we hope you have good meetings. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you all in September.